My name is KJ, and I am the host of Great Talking Entertainment official channel. And today's video is my non-spoiler review for the new movie directed by Benny Safdie, The Smashing Machine. This is a non-spoiler review, so if you're hearing about this, whether it's the good reviews or the bad reviews, and you're not sure if this movie is even worth going to the movie theater, well, let me be the one to convince you to check it out in theaters right now. So, again, this is a non spoiler review. I'm not going to go so depth into the plot of it, but if you would like to hear that version, I will be having a spoiler review for the movie Smashing Machine, a spoiler review later on, so be on the lookout for that as well, where I go in a deeper dive, going scene by scene, dialogue by dialogue, breaking down the characters that you see in those scenes as well. So be on the lookout for that. So again, if you have not seen this, this is a non-spoiler review, and if you do go see it because you watch this video, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinion and just to know your reaction to how you feel about that film. So again, sit back and relax, and let me get into it. So the Smashing Machine is a film that tells the story of Mark Kier, who is a legend in the MMA world, mixed martial art. He's one of the best fighters of mixed martial arts. Since then, a lot of people look up to him and who become inspired to become just like him, who probably, who are in the UFC today, This guy has made history. He has historical fights, and yeah, again, he's one of the best of the best, and he's portrayed by Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, aka the final boss, who is also starring Emily Blunt as well, who plays the girlfriend slash wife of Mark Kier during this era. And this film gives you his personal story of his life, of what it was growing up, and it also just shows a time where like mixed martial art MMA, where at one point it was a different time where it wasn't as popular as it is right now, thanks to obviously like the UFC and the stuff that Dana White has done over the years, right? This was a different time where MMA fighters were not getting paid millions. Well, they didn't have the guaranteed contracts of making millions like they did back then. And it shows the grittier times of that lifestyle during that time, during Mark Kier's peak. And it goes really into depth of how he was struggling with his personal life and just the wear and tear on the body and mental mind of just traveling far away from your home to do these fights. Shows the intense training that he's been through, and it definitely is something athletes, current athletes, no matter what level, or even you're just not into that type of sport, but maybe you're in a different type of sport, you can definitely relate to dedicating your whole self, your whole time, your body, your blood, sweat, and tears, like type feel that you see in this film. And you could definitely relate, especially if you're an athlete or a former athlete as well. You can definitely relate to, giving your whole time and dedication to just in training. And it just shows so much that it gives you a bigger in depth of what it was like in that time. So it's definitely relatable if you've seen that, or if you're just a fan of just sports biographies like this. This is definitely a movie I think you will truly appreciate, and it definitely had that indie movie vibe to it as well, because I felt like they did that on purpose, just because it is going to definitely be competing against the summer blockbuster films that have came out this year of the year 2025. And I think they purposely did that because it felt very competitive of just advertising this film, and you can see it throughout the whole movie as well. And now, as far as the main plot, like I said, it's a really good plot just based on this film. It does show what Mark Cure was going through, and again, I think just seeing The Rock portray him was really cool. So it has a lot. So let me talk about the things I did not like about it. There's only two things, and they kind of relate to each other in the sense of it. But number one, I wish they show more of Mark Cure's backstory from his family to his parents to even like his childhood at times, because I would love to see that in certain of the films. But like I said, they did focus on his personal life, but I wish they focused a little bit more of it. You know, what was he like as a child? What was he like when he was younger that led him to go to this path of being a professional MMA fighter? You know, I wish they showed a little bit more of that. You know, they did focus more on his relationship with his with the wife slash girlfriend at that time that Emily Blunt portrays in this film, and it shows a lot of that. Which it was a, you know, it shows a really in depth of that type of relationship. And then the second thing that I didn't like about it, again, it kind of relates to the first one, is the personal story and the MMA story of that time period of where it was at in that era. The story of those two kind of overlapped at times, where you may think they're gonna focus on what's he like when he's not fighting, what's an off season look like, but out of nowhere it just goes back to him getting ready for a big fight, and obviously they had a lot of fight scenes where they showed him fighting in the ring. Not actual footage of Mark here, but you know, Dwayne the Rock Johnson uh, having scenes where he's fighting a MMA fighter as well, and showing that grittiness. And you know, I love the fight scenes. I love the cinematic photography to that, but sometimes it overlaps, you know, each other at times, but not a big deal. Nothing to like complain about. This is something, if you watch like twice, if you watch this movie twice, you'll start noticing it. But again, it's not a big deal because again, even with those overlaps, you still got the concept, the idea of his struggles, the things he was dealing with, and just again the grittiness of being a professional MMA fighter, especially in that time. Because again, this was a time period where there wasn't very much contracts where they guaranteed you make millions and millions for a fight like it is today, especially in the UFC. So it definitely shows that, and it's very, you know, has that historical feel to it of that past. So I definitely saw that. Now, let's talk about the things I did like about this film. Number one, The Rock. He did such an excellent job playing Mark here, from his mannerisms to the way he walks and talks, and the transformation that he's done on his body to look as accurate as he can look, like that as a MMA fighter with the bulkiness, you know, a little bit stronger, a little bit more muscles, you know, and he just really played well. And I love like the cosmetic makeup that they put on him to make him look like a young version of Mark Kier, which I thought they did really excellent. And you know, he even sounded like the man himself in this film. So The Rock definitely did an excellent job. And then number two, Emily Blunt. She's she's the best of the best. What a performance. She really brought that character to life, and she really portrayed what is like being a girlfriend slash wife of an athlete, especially in that time period. The stressful, the mentalness, just being exhausted, and sometimes traveling with him was a lot on her. And you seen that because, again, I feel like people who are in that type of sport or any sport like that, whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, anything like that, a wife, a girlfriend can definitely relate to a lot of these scenes that's in this movie that Emily Blunt portrayed and played, and was in some tough times. And I think, again, you can a lot of those women could relate to that. So it really had that. They really focus on trying to get in your feelings about this. Wanted you to understand and feel bad at times for these characters in this film. So it definitely had that. And then number three, I love the positive message of, sometimes we go on the wrong path, and we can always get redemption and become the better version of ourselves when we get the right help and have the right people in our lives in a positive way. So I really enjoyed that the most too about this film. And again, it was just a really good film based on Mark Keir's life, and I think they did a really excellent job. And I hope to see The Rock do more films kind of like this, similar to this, because I think he really does have some good acting chops. And of course, Emily Blunt is amazing, and I hope to see her. This is just me being a nerd now, but I do hope to see her in the Avengers Doomsday, or at least Avengers Secret Wars, playing Mystique. She played in the X-Men film, so she's really awesome to see in any type of movie or show in general. But overall, if you're a fan of sports and you like these type of sports films and drama, this is definitely worth it. And I hope you guys see this. And if I had to give this a 1 out of 10, I'm definitely going to give this an 8.5. It was a really good, and I think it just told such a great story, and I just loved everything about it. The cinema photography was good. The acting was good. I mean, everything was just so great about this. And I think, again, this film does deserve an Oscar, and I think The Rock definitely deserves an Oscar, or at least to be nominated in the nominees, up for the run. So I would highly recommend checking this out. I think if you go to the theaters, I think you guys are gonna like it. And for the casual movie viewers, I think you would truly appreciate what this film delivers and showcases. So I hope you guys do see it, and I enjoy it. I really did enjoy this film. So that is my spoiler review, y'all. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you guys be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace out.